Hi guys, I hope you had a wonderful first week of school and a nice and relaxing weekend. What we are going to do today is there is some reading out of the book that you can either read on your own if you would like, or you can follow along with me and read as I read, or if you would like to just listen to me read and then go back through and answer the questions throughout the reading, that is fine also. So if you can just go ahead and get out your Science Fusion book, and we are going to read pages 4 through 11. So if you could go ahead and open up to page 4, and we will go ahead and get started. I'll wait a second for you to get your book. Okay, on page 4, it says the role of scientists. It's career day for Mr. Green's 4th grade class. Mr. Green invited a scientist named Dr. Sims to talk to the class. The students are ready and they have many questions to ask. Write a question that you would ask a scientist. I would like you at some point to write a question that you would like to ask a scientist, and we will go over those when I see you in person in class. On page 5. Thank you for inviting me to your school. My name is Dr. Sims and I am a scientist. A scientist asks questions about the natural world. There are many kinds of scientists and many questions to ask. Science is the study of the natural world. Earth scientists study things such as rocks, weather, and the planets. Physical scientists study matter and energy. Life scientists like me study living things. I am a wildfire biologist, which means I study animals in the wild. Scientists work alone and in teams. Sometimes I travel alone on long hikes to watch animals. At other times, I ask other biologists to go with me. I share ideas with other scientists every day. Science is hard work, but fun too. I like being outdoors. Discovering something new is exciting. The best part for me is helping animals. The best way to explain what a scientist does is to show you. Okay, on page 5, it says, for each area of science, write one question a scientist might ask. So you need to put yourself in the shoes of an earth science scientist. What kind of question might they ask? A life science scientist, what kind of question would they ask? And also a physical science scientist. Okay, and if you don't remember what those 3 scientists studies, you can go back into the reading to see that. All right, on page 6, making observations and asking questions. Dr. Sims looks around the classroom. She observes everything for a few moments. Then she asks questions about what she sees. How does that plant produce offspring? Does the lizard's skin ever change colors? Does the goldfish spend more time near the top or at the bottom of the aquarium? Ask your own well-defined question about the classroom in this photo to the right. So look at the classroom, not our classroom, the classroom on page 7, and ask a question about something living that is in that classroom. Looking at page 7, it says name 5 things you observe in this classroom. So list 5 things that you notice in this classroom. Scientists make observations about the world around them. An observation is information collected using the 5 senses. Scientists ask well-defined questions about their observations. Notice that Dr. Sims asks questions about the living things in the classroom. That's because she is a wildlife biologist. You might ask different questions if you observe different things. Dr. Sims asks, how would you answer my question about the goldfish? One student suggests recording observations in a science notebook. Another student suggests using a stopwatch to collect information about the goldfish. Dr. Sims says, I can plan and implement a descriptive investigation. Scientists conduct an investigation to answer questions. The steps of planning and implementing an investigation may include asking questions, making inferences, selecting appropriate equipment or technology, collecting and analyzing data, and communicating results supported by data. That sounds familiar because that's what we did when we did the Ziploc bag activity. On page 8, experiments. Dr. Sims seems very excited to talk about investigations. She says, describing what you see is one kind of investigation. Other investigations include doing an experiment. An experiment is a fair test. It can show that one thing causes another thing to happen. In each test, you change only one factor or variable. To be fair and accurate, you conduct the experiment multiple times. To test something else, you must start a new experiment. Being creative and working in teams can help scientists conduct experiments. Okay, let's look down at what Carlos is doing. Carlos is conducting an experiment. He gives the lizard fruit and crickets to see which will be eaten. The food is the only variable that is changed. Each day, the lizard gets 2 different types of food at the same time and in the same amounts. Scientific method. So this is what we used the first day of school. Scientific investigations use scientific methods. Scientific methods may include the following activities: making observations, asking questions, forming a hypothesis, which is an educated guess, right? Plan and conduct the experiment, collect, record, and analyze data, draw conclusions, and communicate your results. Sometimes these steps are done in order, at other times they're not. A hypothesis is an idea or an exclamation that can be tested with an investigation. Dr. Sims gives the students an example from her classroom. She says, hypothesize that this lizard eats more insects than fruit. Talk with other students in your class. We can't do that right now, but we can do that when we come back together. Write a hypothesis to explain what makes the lizard in the photo change color. So I want you to make your best educated guess on what do you think maybe causes this lizard to change colors. All right, our last pages. Other kinds of investigations. Dr. Sims smiles. She says, I hope this doesn't confuse anyone, but doing an experiment is not always possible. Many science questions cannot be answered by doing an experiment. Here's one question. What kind of lizard have I found? This question can be answered by using an identification guide. Here's another question. What causes the sun to seem to rise and set? This question can be answered by making and using a model of Earth and the sun. Here's another. At what time of year does a state get the most rain? This question can be answered by looking for patterns through many years of rainfall records. Here's another. How do people who lived 100 years ago describe Mars? This question can be answered with research. Research includes reading what others have written and asking the experts. What is the surface of Mars like? This question is hard to answer with an experiment. NASA scientists sent robot spacecraft to Mars. Cameras of these spacecraft take pictures of the planet for scientists to observe. Now, on page 11, using an identification guide. So you have 3 pictures there of 3 different animals, and you are going to have to use the identification guides below in order to figure out which information goes with which animal based on observing what those animals look like. So what you're going to do is you are going to read the 3 identifications and then look at the pictures, and you are going to draw the line from the identification to the correct animal. Okay? I hope that this helped you, and if you have any questions, please make sure to reach out on Class Dojo or Google Classroom. Other than that, I will see you soon in class. I hope you have a wonderful day. Shine bright like a diamond. Bye.